Today's lesson on life is I want to live well. Today we're going to focus on mental illness, physical illness, healthy eating habits, and just learning how to live the best life. I have three wonderful guests with me today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But one thing I want to talk to you about is what happens in the holidays. During the holidays, we have people struggling with illness, struggling with loss because they've lost loved ones along the way. And maybe this is the time where they start to think about that. It's a time for family. It's a time for us to sit around the table and somebody's missing. It's a time when people start to feel a little bit of depression, start to deal with anxiety. We want to talk about that today. But before we do that, we want to have a wonderful discussion about how to live well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, I'm going to let you introduce yourself so we can go right down the line. That'd be wonderful.
Great. I'm Jonathan Wright, nurse anesthesia. I work at Southampton Memorial Hospital. I've been a nurse anesthesia person for 25 plus years.
Wonderful.
I'm Carol Wright. I'm the associate professor in nursing at Paul DeCamp Community College, and I've been a nurse for over 20 years.
I'm Dr. Amare with the Progesto Armada Chiropractic Care, located in Virginia Beach. Thank you for having me, Dr. Perry.
Thank you all for being here. Give them a hand. Thank you again so much for joining the show. One of the things that stands out to me is that I really want to talk about today is, the holidays. The holidays are approaching. It makes me really happy. I love the spirit of the holidays. I love just getting together with people. I love the anticipation of receiving gifts, but also picking out that special gift for the person that you love. Then there's also the food. I don't know about you and what it looks like at your house, but my mom and my grandfather, who owned a restaurant, God bless his soul, would cook these beautiful meals. We would have ham and turkey and macaroni and cheese and yams and greens and cabbage and cake and pie. Are you getting hungry?
Yes.
What does dinner look like around your table at the holidays?
Pretty much the same. Together with family, it's a spread of food. And it's tempting. It's very difficult to kind of keep the waistline.
To withhold, I come out like this. Food in this hand and dessert in this hand.
And both plates are heaping full
yes.
of food.
Yes. What about you, Dr. Amari?
Being from Ethiopia, it took a while to adjust to the custom of Thanksgiving celebration in America. But we get into it now. We actually traveled to Ohio to celebrate with my twin brother there. So
that is wonderful.
Yeah.
So food is a huge part of how we celebrate. Now, I really try not to have those two plates anymore because I'm trying to watch, my figure. However, it's really hard not to put something, a little bit of everything. But when you put a little bit of everything, because that's how we tell ourselves, that makes it better, right? When you do that, you're adding pounds. I don't know how many pounds, but you're adding pounds and you're thinking, I'll get over it. So how do we find a way to find that balance between this and maybe just one plate of eating healthy? Because the food necessarily is not unhealthy. It's what we're doing with the food. So how do we find that balance at the holidays?
A couple suggestions might be to find the smallest plate there. And so that can be a helpful suggestion. Also, prior to going to a party, a lot of times it's parties or dinners, have maybe a light snack prior to going, and that can help to not be as hungry to fill that plate as large. Drinking water. Drinking water is one of the things that I really feel can help you feel satisfied, but it's also so healthy. And so that can be another thing that might be a good tip.
That is beautiful.
And I think just picking more vegetables, fruits and vegetables on your plate instead of the more caloric type foods, more fatty foods and things of that nature.
Processed foods in general throughout the years, throughout the whole year, trying to stay away from those processed foods and choosing all natural foods. I like to say shop the perimeter of the grocery store. So go ahead and choose the healthy things that are perishable, that have to go in the refrigerator, and those are usually healthier choices.
Carol is my health guru, so she's going to share more tips at the end of this segment. But I also want to talk about a lot of people are dealing with illnesses. A lot of people, they don't want to face it. They sort of put it in their back pocket during the holidays and, like as though they don't have high blood pressure. And so they want to ignore that at the holidays, especially men. So let's talk about men's health for just a minute. Why don't men like to come in and to see the doctor? Do you see a lot of men coming to see you?
I do actually. I guess as a chiropractic physician, we tend to focus on being proactive. We tend to educate our patient, but there is that problem where patients tend to shy away from going to the doctor because they find out this problem. Now they have a problem to fix, rather than being proactive. So there is a problem, but we tend to educate our patient to be more proactive as far as seeing a doctor for a particular condition. So
Wonderful.
Being preventative, being proactive actually.
So when should they come to see you as a chiropractor?
Well, we do a tremendous amount of patients see in our office, people suffering from lower back pain, neck pain. But there's a misconception that a lot of people think that you come and see us for lower back and neck pain, but it's beyond that.
Okay.
We treat them as far as how to eat well, exercise, and how to manage their stress level as well. So
Stress levels.
absolutely, especially this time of the year. So they do come and see us for preventative care.
Beautiful.
People have no problem. They just want to make sure their spine is aligned.
Okay.
Or they come in when they do have acute condition, when they have severe condition, where the structural problem needs to be corrected.
Okay, wonderful.
But I think he hit on something important there. I think when he stresses education and being proactive, I think we as men, I'm not sure if it's something that starts when we're young. We don't see that education or that proactiveness that occurs with us when we're young. And so when we grow up, we tend not to lean towards that way.
Role models.
It's a role model. It surely is. And so when time comes, we seek out medical attention when we're further down the line with our medical diseases, hypertension, stroke, diabetes, renal failure, things of that nature that could have been prevented, as he says, with proactiveness and education.
Exactly. I think that's beautiful. And that's one of the things I was looking at because we want to educate people, men and women, to get the help they need. Men, we want you to know that we love you. We want you to be here for your daughter's wedding, for your son's graduation, and we push you to go to the doctor because we want you to live a little bit longer. And so thank you for that response too. I want to wrap up this segment with talking about healthy eating habits. I know Carol, we go way back, and so Carol really helped me to get started on my journey of being healthier. And I know you do a lot of things in your personal life, but also pushing people in the workplace. Many people say, I don't have time to exercise. I've been there, I've said it too, but Carol makes it a point to not only help herself, but also to help other people to find ways to be healthy. Can you talk a little bit about what you encourage people to do at home and at work so that they can remove those excuses?
I work at Paul Camp Community College, but in addition to my nursing responsibilities, I'm also the Common Health Coordinator. So in that role, I'm able to set up little programs throughout the year and encourage individuals. But even if before I got into that role, I was always trying to encourage individuals to, let's get out and walk on our lunch break. I bring in fruit very frequently. I'll buy a big bag of fruit and I'll bring it in and I'll take a little orange to everybody in the office. And I make it fun. Sometimes they've never tried things like pomegranate or star fruit. And so if I see an exciting fruit in the grocery store, I'm going to take it in and say, let's all try this. But it broadens their perspective to try some different foods that they may not have tried otherwise. Currently we have a walking challenge going on. So I've got 5 teams of 5 individuals.
Wonderful.
And so we're kind of bantering back and forth. And, I'm going to beat you. No, I'm going to beat you.
Well,
challenge
is good.
It makes a lot of fun. So those are some encouraging things that I have done. In the workplace.
So now you can't say that you can't be healthy at work because instead of focusing on, I'm going to take an hour and we're just going to go out and talk and eat. And if you're talking, a lot of times you're just eating unconsciously, sort of stuffing things in, and you're not watching how much you're eating. And just because those mashed potatoes are good during the holiday, doesn't mean you need to go back for seconds or thirds. And so take a little bit of a walk, enjoy the walk, finish your food and do something else. Thank you so much to our co-host and our guest today. Anything else that you'd like to add to help people to be healthier?
I'd like to add, just focus on yourself. Focus on things that are around you. Encourage others. If we can do all we can to cut back on smoking, cut back on alcohol abuse, to cut back on eating fats, fried foods. Those are the things that we need to tend to look at and help us down the road. We're looking down the road, I would say.
Making decisions today to help you live healthier every day and live a more full life, a longer life.
I would say set a realistic goal for yourself. A lot of times folks will set a goal that, I just want to get into this dress for the holiday, for this Christmas party or a wedding that's coming up. And that's a short-term goal. But if we can set a goal for health and make it a long-term goal and be realistic, because it's really, you can't lose more than 2 to 3 pounds per week to be healthy. But I think the focus has to be health and living long and with quality. So
things like breathing well. Things like being able to walk up the steps without, losing your breath, fitting into the dress is great, but also being able to sleep with your spouse sleeping beside you because you're not snoring so loudly. Those are also important goals. Also, Dr. Amari, where can people find you?
I'm located in Virginia Beach, right across Mount Trashmore. And just to add on to what these guys have said, again, education is very important as far as educating how to eat well, exercise, and keep the stress level or manage your stress level better. So instead of getting sick, prevent being sick. So as far as chiropractic care, the whole philosophy behind chiropractic care is preventing from being sick and keeping you well so that you can continue to live healthier longevity of life.
Yes, I think that's beautiful. Prevention really is key.
And the only thing I'll add is to reach out. Reach out to someone. Reach out to a relative, a friend, anyone who can assist you through the holidays, assist you through these eating times or these unhealthy times, to reach out and ask for help. And that's another topic we can talk about forever.
Definitely. And I want to end with this because I think generational, sometimes you don't have that support, because I know in my journey, it wasn't always easy trying to eat the healthiest food when people are saying, you're going to eat that little bit, you're going to eat that, you're not going to eat this piece of fried fish, you're just going to eat that salmon, and so families, we have to support one another. We need to make sure that if people are trying to make themselves healthy and they're trying to live a healthier lifestyle, that we support that versus supporting those unhealthy habits just because we've been doing it for so long. Just because we've been doing it for so long does not make it right. Prevention really is the key. You've been given tips today. I hope that you will use them, because I really do want you to live well. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. It's now time for me to speak into your life. You've read the news stories about Robin Williams and others who smiled when the camera was on, and then they were secretly suicidal. Now, I'm not asking you if you are secretly suicidal, but I know too many people who are around the holidays feeling like they want to give up. I call those the give up moments. They're going through pain, they're dealing with life's problems, marriage, divorce, they lost someone this year or last year, they're dealing with depression, they're dealing with anxiety. Are you having a give up moment? I want to tell you, I've had my share of give up moments. I tell my students all the time, I almost didn't become a doctor. There were moments when I didn't feel like I was at my best, but it was my husband encouraging me, reminding me of all that I had accomplished, how bright I was, and it was God definitely reminding me of my vision and His plan for my life. I want to encourage you today that I want you to continue to live well, but so many people are secretly suicidal. I had to find my fight. I remember when I was going through, laying on the couch, literally feeling like I couldn't get up. But then I heard God's voice tell me to get up and fight. And I literally went and pulled out my husband's punching bag and started punching, fighting and crying, fighting and crying until there was nothing left but fight. And it was God that showed me, you must do this. You have to be a doctor. There's more for you. So I'm telling you today, there's a reason why you're still here. There's a reason why you have to go through what you're going through. But I want you to look into the mirror and say, I want to live. I want to take a second and focus on depression and anxiety because I think a lot of people misunderstand what it really is. I want you to know that there are two types. There's a clinical depression, but there's also just sort of, I feel sad, I feel the blues, I don't feel like doing anything. There's something called apathy where you just lose interest. But I want you to understand what clinical depression is when you feel those things for more than 2 weeks. And it's pretty consistent. It's every day, all day. You're not eating or you're eating too much. You're not sleeping or you're sleeping too much. But the biggest one is that you have that depressed mood, that sadness, and it's ongoing. But also you lose hope. And that is really important because when we lose hope, that's when it takes you to the brink of suicide. That's when you start having thoughts of, I don't want to live anymore. And for most people, it's not necessarily that they don't want to live, they just don't want to go through the situation that they're in. So I want to encourage you to know the difference between clinical depression and just I feel depressed, because both are treatable. Also, I want you to understand anxiety. Many people get overwhelmed, especially with the holiday. You have a lot going on. You're shopping. You're trying to work with the kids, and you're trying to do your job. You're trying to make a little bit of extra money. You're feeling a little overwhelmed. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to talk to you also, though, about sort of clinical anxiety, where you feel that excessive worry, where you're worrying about things that are way beyond your control. It's keeping you so down. It's keeping you from doing things that you would normally do. It's affecting your functioning. You can't go to work. You are feeling overwhelmed where you're staying in the house and you won't go out. You're having those physiological symptoms where your hands are sweaty. You're getting headaches. Your heart is beating so fast it feels like it's about to jump out of your chest. Are you having a panic attack? Those are things you need to know, because a lot of people will go to the emergency room and they will say there's nothing wrong with your body. So therefore it must be your mind. I want you to understand that also during this season, a lot of people deal with seasonal affective disorder, which happens around the holidays. You feel this sadness. And as soon as you go out, as soon as the spring comes around, you feel a little bit better. I want to encourage you to recognize these symptoms during the holidays and during this time of the year, because if you don't recognize, you think, I'm about to lose my mind. But you're not about to lose your mind. You're having some symptoms. And you may not have the clinical disorder. I want you to seek help if you think you are, because it's better to get the help if you think you are than to not do anything at all. But if you're laying in the bed all day, if you're not getting the help that you need, then it's really important that you recognize when to get help. And so that's what I want you to know. Last thing I want to talk about is grief and loss. Sometimes it's really hard to lose that loved one. Sometimes it's really hard to deal with loss, especially when it still feels very new and people are telling you to get over it, move on. They've passed away. It's time for you to date again. It's time for you to get back in your church. It's time for you to go back to work. But inside, you don't feel like it. And I want you to know this. Nobody can tell you when to stop grieving. No one can tell you what you shouldn't feel. And so what you need to do is to remember that person, because trying not to remember them is not helping you. But you need to remember them in a healthy way. Doesn't mean you need to keep that whole closet full of clothing. That means you keep something in remembrance of them, that you take time to think about the good days and the good times. But you don't need to revolve your whole life around that incident or that loss. It is important for you to move forward in your life, but it doesn't mean that you have to do things by yourself. So I want you to know that you are not the sum total of your disappointments, everything that you've been through. Sometimes depression tells you that you're not loved, you're not good enough, that because you've been through so much, that makes you worse. That's not true. I want to remind you of what you've done, what you've accomplished in your life, because sometimes you forget. I want you to remind you of the people that you've helped, because sometimes you forget. I want to remind you of the people that love you, because sometimes it feels like you have no one. I want you to know that it's possible for you to get past your depression, past your anxiety. I don't want you living secretly suicidal. It's really important that you know that God loves us despite our character, despite our faults, despite what we've been through, that you're never alone. because he said he never leave you nor forsake you. Don't count yourself out and don't give up on yourself. We'll be right back with our community resources. This is our community resources segment, and I have with me 3 more wonderful guests who are going to talk about the resources that they have for you. When you're talking about healthy living, there's a lot of things that we could talk about. We've already talked about healthy eating, we've talked about men's health, women, we've talked about exercise, which is important. We talked about the holidays, but today I want to give you a few more resources, some alternatives, some traditional, just some things that you can do in the community, and just to encourage you, again, to live well. Let's start over here with Mr. Jet Johnson.
Yes, thanks for having me. Like you said, my name is Chet Johnson. I manage a program called Healthy People, Healthy Suffolk. It's with the Suffolk Partnership for a Healthy Community. We're fortunate to be partnered with the OC Healthcare Foundation.
Yes.
And essentially my job is to do anything I can in the next 10 years and beyond to bring down the obesity numbers in Suffolk.
Yes.
And so we offer fitness classes that are free and open to the public in churches.
Wonderful.
We offer walking challenges. We offer advice on how to get out and get moving. We can get into businesses and tell you how to just spend a few minutes of your day to get the exercise in that you need, so there's always time. We also have free 5Ks throughout the year. Any opportunity that you need to connect with some sort of health resource or fitness resource, that's what we're there for.
Okay.
And so we're at healthypeoplehealthysuffolk.org. We also have a Facebook page where we put all of our events, anything that we have going on, so that's a perfect place to find any information that you need from us.
Okay, so do you have to live in Suffolk to take advantage of this resource?
We operate solely in Suffolk.
Okay.
However, anybody that's in the Hampton Roads area, they can come to our events that are in Suffolk. They can connect with our resources in Suffolk. So anything that we do is open to the public.
I'm Kay Hurley. I'm a Healing Touch practitioner for people and animals.
Yes.
And you can visit healingtouchprogram.com for more information and to find practitioners in the area.
Okay.
And there's a wonderful introductory video that explains Healing Touch, which is a light, either no touch or
Okay.
above the body energy work. It's offered in some of the local hospitals here.
Okay.
And it's growing in leaps and bounds. You can visit healingtouchforanimals.com to find out about that aspect.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about what Healing Touch does?
Healing Touch, we have energy centers in our body, and when things are out of balance, and it's pretty hard to stay balanced for all of us. But when things are out of balance, that gives an opportunity for disease to manifest.
Okay.
And generally, disease is sometimes manifested in the energy field, which for most of us is 4 to 6 feet from the body. If you feel like somebody's in your space. And so energy work helps dispel that so that we can be balanced. And their focus is on self-care, both for the practitioner and for the client.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you. And again, where can people find more information?
Well, for me, I have a website. It's youngliving.org/khurley because I also use essential oils in my practice.
Okay.
And for my email is actually virginiabeach@healingtouchforanimals.com.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Kay Hurley. Dr. Mari?
Again, my name is Dr. Michael Amade with the Pro-Adjuster Chiropractic Clinic. We utilize one of the most sophisticated advanced computerized technology to do 2 things. One is to diagnose the area of concern, which is the area of problem like subluxation or misalignment of the spine. Also, the treatment is done with the Pro-Adjuster technology. The conventional chiropractic care doesn't exist in the office, means the hands-on manipulating the spine, the pulling and turning. So we utilize the Pro-Adjuster technology, specifically locate, analyze, and correct the problem that the patient may have, whether it's back pain and neck pain or allergy or sinus headaches. So we are located right across Mount Trashmore. The address is 525 South Independence Boulevard, Suite 190, the United Property Associate Building.
And I want to say a lot of people don't think about back pain and neck pain until they get in a car accident. And so, a lot of times you don't think, I have any stress in those areas of my body, even with what Kay was talking about, sort of, you need to be more aware of your body. And what Dr. Mari is telling you, maybe to seek that preventative care. So if you haven't, and I always tell students when we're doing massage or when we're talking about massage or talking about relaxation techniques, if you lift your shoulders and then pull your shoulders back down, you actually can can feel that tension. So a lot of times you're actually having that back and neck pain and you're walking around with it every day. So it's important to actually maybe talk to some different people so that you can actually get an analysis. Maybe call the chiropractor here to see what's going on with your body. Is it just stress or is it something else that's going on? And why not do preventative things so that you can feel healthier? Be a part of your life. It's time for us to start living healthy and living well. Thank you so much for joining us. I also want to give you a resource myself, and so please feel free to check out my website, which is www.drcarlitaperry.com. You can also reach me at 1-877-789-3201 if you have any questions or you'd like to make an appointment. I want to say we want you to live in peace. Peace does not mean that you live a life without any noise, hard work, or trouble. Peace means that you live life in the midst of those things. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day and God bless you, and we'll see you next time.